Hi, if like me you're a child of the 70s, you may or may not be able to remember these Palitoy talking Daleks. Each one came with three phrases. When you depress this button on the head, it would talk to you. It came in three variants. We've got the red, we've got the silver with blue hemis, and we've got the silver with black hemis. The one with the black is probably the rarest of these toys altogether. However, what you will know is that after all these years, these voice boxes have ceased to work. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how to take one of these voice boxes that looks like this and make it speak again. So, bear with me and we'll see where we go with this. Okay, here's the first one of these voice boxes. I just popped a battery in it. And the way these things work, to start the motor, these two contacts have to come together. The negative from the battery comes up through here and the positive goes through here, and both have connectors on that go into this motor here. So to make it spin, you need to connect these two bits in the middle, and as you can see it doesn't work. But a lot of these motors over the years have kind of like stalled with age, so if you nip them together and give them a turn, it should, as you saw before, start to spin. There you go. But of course that's not very reliable. What I found the best thing for this is basically a blast of oil, so I'll go and get the old WD40 out and see where we go from there. Okay, WD-40 is basically magic for these things, so I've basically just squirted some in here and also taken some into the motor housing at the bottom. Now, when these two connectors get pulled together, like this, you can hear that motor going. It's basically undoing probably 30 years of being not working. So there we go, great stuff. You can probably just about see that's the drive belt of the motor spinning. So now I'll put the rest together and hopefully we can make this thing talk after all these years. So you effectively, can you see that red piece at the bottom? I can't really see what I'm doing. You get the spring and pop it over there like that. This then pushes into this slot between those two connectors, like so. So that is quite bouncy. Okay. I don't know if you can see the focus on that. Apologies for going out. So that's basically that. Next, you need something to drive the mechanism. So I've got one of these old drive belts. As you can see, they're generally kinked because this has probably been installed in someone's garage for however many years. This belt goes into this ridge around the record wheel and sits in like that. So now if I'd put batteries in, let me straighten this camera up. If I'd have put batteries in, when I press that down and that metal piece goes between those two connectors, the motor would start and that record would start turning. So how do we get the noise? I've got no doubt this won't be in focus because the pieces are so small, but I shall try. Here we've got the stylus, a pin for holding the stylus in, and a spring piece here. I've basically just reassembled this now. This piece sits nicely inside this black hole here. So if you pop him in like that, perfect, and then sit that record over like that. So we've now, can you see that? We've now got the record over the stylus. So basically, if I was to put a battery in now, you would see this starting to whir and work. Okay, what we've got here is I've put a battery in and I'm now pressing this record player down on that spring, which is pushing them contacts together. If I then put some pressure on this needle, listen, you should hear the Dalek talk. Then it should spring back. And then I could listen to these speech phrases forever. What really makes this critical now is putting the lid on, and basically the lid, sorry, just knock that WD-40 over there, that lid will act as something to spring this on, so it'll keep pushing that back when the thing's depressed. Let me put it together and it'll hopefully make a bit more sense. Okay, what you can see now is I've put this top section back on, but I've left off the diaphragm, the see-through diaphragm, and this top bit that keeps the whole thing together, but it gives you a better idea how the thing works. So when you press down this button, you see the wheel starting to turn. When the diaphragm's in place, the starting position of the needle's here. Okay, so when you press this button down, you'll see that it presses down the record, which releases the stylus, which, using this spring that's tucked in here, flicks it back. So if you can imagine that the lid is on, you depress your button and then the stylus moves over to there. Because that's still being forced down by the pressure of the diaphragm and the top, and then it goes like that. Press it again. See? So that gives you an understanding how it works. Now, because these springs have been twisted and stuck over the years, sometimes it's difficult getting this whole diaphragm piece to work. So what I'll do now is I'll show you how it works with a diaphragm. Okay, finally this whole thing's put back together. It needs to be kept really tight, and when you press the button, so there's a fully restored voice box.